Welcome back to the shop. I'm Andrew and this is Davidson Crafts, and today we're going to be getting a little cute. As you probably saw in the thumbnail, today we're going to be making a birdhouse and stand. Now, birdhouses are fun little projects that I really enjoy making, whether it's going on a Christmas tree as a Christmas ornament or just a decoration for the house. Today for our birdhouse, we're going to be using this piece of ash for our hook on our stand. We're hopefully going to be using this offcut of, I believe this is some maple, I think it's some silver maple. And then for the base of our stand, we're going to be using this offcut of ironwood. I think it'll make a really nice heavy stand for us, and we'll make sure that our birdhouse doesn't go anywhere. And for our birds, I went ahead and picked up this little pack of birds from the craft store. So let's go ahead and get this over to the lathe so we can start working on our birdhouse. Okay, we've got our piece in the chuck and everything's nice and round now, so let's go ahead and start shaping our birdhouse. All right, I like our overall shape so far, and I think it's looking pretty good. So it's time to go ahead and start sanding. We're going to start at 200 and go up to 400. While we're sanding, we're going to keep this little nib on here for some extra support from the tailstock. Then once we're done sanding, we'll go ahead and take that off and finish off the top. With everything all sanded up, we went ahead and used some of our shavings to burnish it, and that just gives it a really nice sheen and a really smooth finish. So now we're going to go ahead and use a technique that we've used before by applying some leather dye to the top section so that our roof is different than the body of our birdhouse. So let's go ahead and get that applied. I like the way that looks, so let's go ahead and let that dry, and then we'll go ahead and add our finish. After letting this dry, I noticed that we had some of the dye bleed into some of the grain lines, and it didn't look very good, so I went ahead and took a black Sharpie and just ran it along the underside of our roof here just to create a nice sharp line. And I went ahead and added one under this section here just to make sure that everything looked the same. All right, we'll go ahead and get this cut off so we can finish this underside. Okay, with our birdhouse all turned now, it's time to go ahead and add the little entry hole for our bird. For our perch, we're just going to be using a bamboo skewer. So let's go ahead and get that hole drilled in here as well. All right, I think that's going to work out pretty good. So what we're going to do now is to go ahead and just take some sandpaper and knock off the corners of our entry hole here, and then use a Sharpie to darken the inside of the hole. So we left the hole here on purpose from the tailstock, and that's so that we have a nice direct center hole to go ahead and add this hook. So let's get it in there. All right, we're in good shape there, so let's go ahead and start working on the base. First thing we're going to do is use this Forstner bit to drill out a portion so we can get this connected to the chuck. All right, we're able to now attach this to the chuck, but I gotta tell you, this Forstner bit is completely dull now. This stuff is just so brutally hard. Okay, let's go ahead and get this on the lathe. All right, so I went to go ahead and put the ironwood on the lathe, and this happened. Oh, so obviously there was a pre-existing crack in this. When I went to spread open the jaws of the chuck, it went ahead and cracked it. So that's out. I went through the wood pile and I got this piece of mahogany, and I think that this will look pretty nice for our base. So let's go ahead and find our centers and get this thing on the lathe. All right, I like where we're at with our overall shape, so let's go ahead and get this thing sanded. All right, it's time to start working on the hook that's going to hold our birdhouse. So for that, we're going to be using this piece of silver maple. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is kind of draw out the basic shape. And then from there, we'll go ahead and get this thing cut out. All right, well, we'll go ahead and head over to the bandsaw and start getting this cut out. The bandsaw blade is a little dull, and I've ordered a new one, but it's not here yet. So we're just gonna have to make do with what we've got. So let's get this thing cut out. Okay, we've got our rough shape cut in, so we're gonna go ahead and start removing some of the excess material with the belt sander. This is a 50 grit belt, so it's really aggressive and will remove a lot of material really quick. So we'll go ahead and start there, and then we'll move up the grits until we get to our finer details. Okay, so what we've got now is a nice taper from the bottom here up to the top of our hook this way. So what we're going to go ahead and do is start tapering it this way as well, so that we're wider at the bottom and thinner at the top. With both of our tapers in, we're going to go ahead and switch our belt to a less aggressive belt and go ahead and start taking off all of our corners so that we can get this all rounded out. Okay, we got things in rough shape from the belt sander. Additionally, we started shaping our little tenon here at the bottom. So now we're going to go ahead and start working on it with some files. Just to ensure that I don't break off our tip here, I'm going to go ahead and switch to some sandpaper. We're going to start at 150 and then go up to 400. All right, got some blue mat out, and this is just a cut off of a camping mat. So this will just help us as we're sanding, that we're not going to, make any dents in it, pushing it against the edge of the workbench. So let's go ahead and keep on sanding. Words cannot express how much I loathe hand sanding. Just be glad that you get to watch it via a montage. Okay, now that we've got everything nice and sanded with our little Captain Hook here, we're going to go ahead and clean up the bottom here, make sure that everything's nice and flush, and then round out our little tenon so that we can get it put into the base. All right, it's time to go ahead and drill the hole so we can hang our hook in there. Joss! Come on! For real? Well, there you have it, guys. Our birdhouse and stand are all complete, and I'm pretty happy with how this project turned out. I was a little worried when we lost the tip up here, but we were able to replace it with an additional eye hook up here, and I think it looks pretty good. We went ahead and glued our little birdie on here, and I really like the different colors of the wood and how it all goes together. If you liked the video, let me know by clicking on the like button. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, be sure to do that so you can see more awesome videos like this. We're going to go ahead and end it with some close-up shots of this. Guys, I really appreciate you watching the video, and we'll see you on the next one.